What's good, Black Star Podcast? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Jared. Y'all, today we're going to be looking at a video from Art of Dialogue. Now, it's been a minute since I've actually done one of these videos, especially reviewing his content, but Judge Joe Brown said something on one of his podcasts that just came across my feed, and I actually do agree with it. Now, this is about Tyler Perry and how Tyler Perry's, and I've talked about this before, but this is about Tyler Perry and his anti-masculine sentiment when it comes to black men. Look at this.
Tyler Perry, how you feel about the recent lawsuit filed against him for sexual assault?
I've referred to the Hollywood industry and the casting couch with the 7 B's. Remember, unbelt, drop breeches, drop boxes, bend over. See, that's a reality in that trade. So with the feminist movement, everybody is concerned about the heterosexual casting couch, but not the homosexual casting couch. So that is a reality. You saw Ellen DeGeneres. You know, I experienced being asked to go boost her pathetic ratings and appear on her show and watched what she did around on her set. So, yeah, I can understand how that stuff comes out. And it is a reality in what's going on. And if you listen to what Tyler Perry does, he's essentially anti-masculine. He downs straight men, particularly straight black men, at every opportunity in his productions. And if you watch some of his stuff, check out some of his things. What's the one with I'm Black or something like that, where the guy is dying of some fatal disease and he runs this cosmetic firm, and his brother came up with the formula. The brother had problems with it, but the guy that made the money for the family didn't care about the fact that it was carcinogenic and would kill people. So now that guy is trying to be gay, so he gets this plain woman who was a stripper, and he starts making her friend, and he sets it up so she becomes the person that helps run the company. So Tyler Perry's favorite subject is bad-mouthing straight men, especially black straight men, and making them look like villains. Meanwhile, somebody gay comes in and helps out somebody that's a plain Jane girl or foolish woman, and they prosper in the end. That's what he does. So when you look,
The show that Judge Joe Brown is referring to is Tyler Perry's Beauty in Black. There's a show on Netflix, and basically what he just described is what the show's premise is. Beauty in Black.
at his art, do you ask, does it mirror his reality? And if somebody's got a fetish style taste for something, is that what he's prone to do to take advantage of a situation? Particularly since so much of what he produces and directs has a psychological flavor of having been somebody who was an abused child or somebody in his youth got taken advantage of. So a lot of what goes wrong with this particular alt culture is that it has formed an alliance with people who are abusers of children, pedophiles, and such like. So you might expect to see fantasy reflecting reality and the opportunity to vest the same reality on somebody else being taken. Background circumstances.
So I take it you're not a big fan of Tyler Perry. How do you feel about him personally?
I think he's poisonous. The worst thing we've had happen is, I know Flip Wilson used to do it. It wasn't that it wasn't done, but he institutionalized this tranny thing with Medea. The industry pushed the hell out of that because part of their agenda was to legitimate and popularize and get accepted this transvestitism. It's a
You know, it didn't just start with just Tyler Perry. It didn't. It started with Eddie Murphy, Martin Lawrence. It started with those. It started with a lot of other black people, black men that dressed up as women. John Travolta when he was in Hairspray. It's been happening all this time, but most notably, the most iconic characters that we know of is Big Mama from Big Mama's House and Rasputia and from Norbit and all these other characters that they've played. So it's not just Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is just the one that built the empire off of dressing like a woman and being Medea. But for the most part, when you literally look at most of his movies and stuff, it's basically what Judge Joe Brown said. It props up the homosexual black man as the hero, and it frames the heterosexual black man as the villain. Now, back to his earlier example of Beauty in Black, Horace. I think Horace is bi, but he's down low with it. And his son, one of his sons, is openly homosexual. Then the lawyer that they have is homosexual. Then his straight son is married to a bitch, let's be honest, Mallory. And she's crazy as hell, fucking everything. She's crazy. And her son and his wife, her husband, Horace's son, is a useless drug addict that doesn't know how to fucking keep his composure. And his brother's insane. His ex-wife is insane. So it's just like, honestly, it's a lot of shit that goes on with that.
sickness, but they made it normal. And quite frankly, the character Medea in the real world would probably be somebody that would need a really serious beatdown for the things that were normalized through the presentation. Think about it. Oprah, too. Roger King auditioned 350 women, and he picked Oprah. What he said candidly was he wanted a poster for, quote, ugly, stay-at-home female America. And she and her girlfriend, Gail, had been doing their thing, but the truth of the matter is, every opportunity that woman got on her show that was drafted, produced, directed, and enfranchised by Roger King was anti-masculine. Now, Roger King was an interesting guy. His father invented syndication for television. Our gang, the Little Rascals, the Three Stooges, Laurel and Hardy, the old black and white movies, the old cartoons that were replayed on the kiddie shows, his dad set that up. Roger King was a 6'5" tackle of a football player who was a straight-up man who liked his Jack Daniels. Great guy. But he inherited his father's business, which was known as King World. And he set upon expanding it, and he recruited Oprah. He recruited Dr. Phil. He was the one that picked her book club stuff. He's the one that ran her business, set up on, and then he died quickly with no prior illnesses of either a cerebral hemorrhage or a massive heart attack, depending upon who you listen to. He was very much into manhood and actually asked me to talk to his daughters about why they were having problems with men. One of his daughters had married a nice guy, and the other one, who looked like a beauty queen, who since died of breast cancer, unfortunately, was saying, "Judge, how come I can't find a guy to go out with who's not like one of my friend girls with a dick?" And you see that as a real world consequence. So he discovered Oprah, he set her up, and then before she could get the foundation, he died. Now, if you go into OWN headquarters, you see some rather peculiar looking older women who represent the consortium that acquired the financial framework for what's OWN, and they run it. Last time I went in there, somebody was trying to sell a show. I didn't want to have anything to do with it, but I did it as a favor to some people I'd worked with. I saw two young black people in there. One was a gay guy that was outdoing Michael Jackson and tipping lightly, and the other one was some young sister with her head shaved, a plaid shirt, bib overalls, and work boots. And they were down on the first floor, and everybody above that looked like they'd wear Birkenstock sandals. And I say that because that was a gag on a game show that I was a guest on. So that was a clue.
You know, the more and more you listen to him, the more and more you're just like, you know what? What he's saying ain't too far off. Because if you really look at the situation as a whole, you have OWN, you have BET, you have Tyler Perry Studios, and the host of other companies that they run. Now, check this out. When you look at these different companies and shit, and you actually see what these companies represent and what they bring to the forefront as far as black culture, they all bring one certain particular thing to the congregation when it comes to the image of black men, and that is the negative image of black men. It's always a negative image. There's never no positive image, no positive insight. And that's partly the reason why a lot of black women don't like black men, because of the image that's been portrayed by so many different fucking networks. Oh, black men are dangerous, black men are this. Is what's been portrayed. And the problem is, a lot of these sisters, they're going to believe that to the day they die. They're going to teach their daughters not to trust black men. They're going to teach their sons that black men aren't shit. They're going to teach their spawn, their kin, that black men are dangerous unless he's a homosexual, loudmouth, Saucy Santana type of black man. And you want to know something funny? The women that actually date black men, if you look at their criteria of what they want in a black man, they're always saying he's got to be a certain type of black man. He's got to be basically a stepping stone, or he's got to have his shit together, make millions to hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars when they date him. There's never a sense of, oh, he has to have good qualities. He's gotta have a plan. He's gotta have a vision. They never say this. The only thing they say is he's gotta make this amount of money. He's gotta accept me as I am and take my kids under him as his own. There's always the criteria. There's always the sentiment of what they have in mind for black men. And if he's not like that, or he's not the straight gay best friend, they don't want him. If he doesn't agree with their politics or their ideology, he's got to go.
To something. But anyway, that's what it is. So that's part of the industry. Stedman, that's supposed to be her boyfriend. He lives out in the pool house. Okay. Every now and then you might see Stedman at a red carpet, and what you'd see would be what we were just talking about. So anyway, it is what it is. She and Tyler Perry have done a lot to wreck what was a beautiful thing with the black movement in the end of the 1960s and early 70s. She used to work as a gopher for a woman named Nettie Stowers that had a talk TV show on WSM in Nashville. Oprah was known as Miss Bad. Bad feet, bad legs, bad body, bad complexion, bad hair, and bad attitude. She had just graduated from TSU. That was in 1973. And Roger King found her a couple of years when he auditioned 350-some women to find, as he put it, a poster child for ugly stay-at-home female America. We became friends of a sort. See, what happened is I wound up being a Viacom show along with Judge Judy. And what wound up happening is we went to Paramount Television, which was Viacom, but it was top heavy with nepotism. So to get everything efficiently, CBS got assigned my show and Judge Judy's show by Viacom, and Viacom brought in Roger King, who brought in Oprah and Dr. Phil. So he had a special CBS syndicated unit with Judge Judy, Dr. Phil, Oprah Winfrey, and Judge Joe Brown. So he came to me after a few months and he said, this studio is trying to make you go away. You are their number one money maker. And do you take the stockholders? I said, I do, and that's exactly what they're telling the stockholders. I'm their number one money-making show, most profitable, and I help them stay in the black rather than the red, unlike most of the entertainment industry at the time. He said, yeah, they're trying to destroy you. He said, every time you catch up with either of them, they try to hold you back. You ever heard of that A-list, B-list, and all that other stuff? The paparazzi don't make the list. Your studios make the list. And the paparazzi and Roger King says your studio does not have you on anybody's list. So I'm going to fix that. So in a few months, I started beating Dr. Phil regularly. And in a few more months, I started beating Oprah in the ratings regularly. So for the last 5 years, I was with CBS syndication, including 2 years after Roger King died. I was either the number one or number two syndicated show in the United States for daytime syndication. And in some areas where they played me, like in the Southeast in prime time, I was number one in that. But you never heard that. All they talked about was Oprah, who was way, way below me and Judy in the ratings, and Judge Judy, and the other one that was tied with the two of us was Wheel of Fortune. So,
all right. So basically what I'm hearing is Oprah basically got propped up as in his words, a quote unquote gopher. So basically she wasn't worth a damn when she was out, when she had came out, but they propped her ass up like she was worth something because of some bullshit. That's basically all I'm hearing. And the bad part is, look at the damage that woman has done in today's dating market. Look at the type of damage that she's done. She hasn't done anything good for this community. The only thing her ass has really done is basically bullshitted her way around shit. That's all she did. She bullshitted around. But anyways, guys, like, share, subscribe to the channel, support the podcast, spotlight.com. And I'm going to say this one thing. A lot of these black entertainers are the reasons why the black community is the way it is. But anyways, I'll catch y'all later. Bye, guys.